Hiya. I thought if I wore my glasses, I'd look more intellectual. But the bird on my head is kind of taken away from that. Oh, man. This is it. I live in an aviary. This is the bird's house. She's actually having me as I'm a visitor in her place. This is because everything's happening at the zoo. You know that. Uh, if I put the glasses back on, can I host Jeopardy? I don't know. I don't think so. Did you like Jeopardy? Did you like? Well, Alex Trebek. I was friends with him. I had him in the homeroom. He's from my neighborhood, Buffalo, Toronto. And we all come from that area. As did so many people. Some have died. John Candy is from there. Oh God, how can I go through the name of all the Canadians? They all wanted to be in America. They all wanted to be in New York, and they wound up on Saturday Night Live or Second City TV. The entire cast went to work there. I think we've had a terrific amount of education in stand-up comedy and in sitcoms, and in this last year we've all been sitting calm. This whole pandemic has been a sitcom. You're going to sit here and be very calm. The bird's fluttering. What does she want? I know what she wants. She wants a little attention. Yeah, must be Oprah's bird. Oprah's got her wings out now. She's trying to get on all the shows that she can put herself on to sell her book. This is an amazing horrors business, isn't it? I mean, really it is, honestly. People want to get on television so they can hawk something. They want to hump your leg till you buy something. It's all about selling and buying and selling. When I was a kid, I never looked at it that way. I didn't look at it as we were poor. There was no buying, and there was nothing to sell. That's it. When you have a lot of money, then you protect it. When you have no money, you don't really care. There's not a lot to think about when you're poor, except how you're not going to be rich. Because you don't think you're going to be rich. It's low self-esteem. But all these books, Oprah and her guests and the do-gooders and the wonderful way to live, and this guy now, she's got a new saint that she's putting out there, this guy that co-authored with her about having a great life. See, everybody's journey, this is my speech now. She's been giving speeches. She was on this morning on CBS, which I think is her network at this point with Gayle King. But she's on all these shows now talking about this great life. She's the one who had the great life because she is a movie star. She's a television star. She made a lot of money. She's well respected in the community, and black is in. So there you go. Now, if you could have that in my book, I'll be happy. My book, where is it? I don't know. I'm using it now to use the pages for the birdcage. No, seriously, I believe that everybody's journey we're related, but we're individuals. It's a strange thing. I tell my kids, I don't want to give a speech because I'm going to sound like Oprah now. She's been giving speeches lately. Everything's a TED Talk. It's an Oprah talk, an O talk. And I don't want to make this a Joe talk because let's have some fun. But I want to say that I told the kids, I said, everybody's got a thumbprint, a fingerprint. We're as individual as a snowflake. Every single person has a different personality and a different ID. That's the DNA. You have that, and nobody else has what you have. So if no one else, if we are suffering from terminal uniqueness, why would we want to read a book about how somebody tells us how to live their lives and our lives and how everybody should be? Why would you even trust that? I used to tell Wayne Dyer, the area that I was good friends with Wayne, he was my wonderful friend. And I said, the first thing I do is in the Barnes & Noble is walk right by the self-help section. When I go to self-help, I usually take the book and help myself, and I go and not pay for it. That's my idea of self-help. I don't believe in anything at a checkout counter on the way out of the supermarket. None of those stories have ever been anything real. And we're going to have eventually a chip put in our head. That's what we're coming for, electronics. We're going to have an implant, and it'll be your own ID, which you already have anyway, really. I mean, you like we just said, you have that. But this implant is going to be right there, right in your head, and they're going to run your head across a scanner to see what you got in there. I will be in the express lane at Walmart. That's my head. And the things that we're doing that are electronics, they're replacing. The music is electronic. It's all electronic. It's the beat. It's not about the instruments that we used to use, with my rock and roll days. I don't know what they're going to do with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because there's no rock and roll anymore. Not really, not really. There's country music gone wrong, and there's pop music trying to make an entrance somewhere. I don't know what we're going to do. We just don't have the rock and roll. It's gone. It's gone. Favorite instrument at one time was the drums during the big band era, and then later on, and years later, it was the guitar, and the rock and roll was guitar. But we don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of confidence right now in the electronic music replacing instruments. And I like a full orchestra, but I'm not going to pay for one. But hey, and Sony owns everything. They own all the music. They own the people that distribute the music. They own the charts that tell you what you're supposed to like. The Spotify and the downloading and all that. It's all owned by Sony. And Sony is a Japanese company that was broke. You know why they went broke? First of all, they bought Columbia Pictures. When the brothers from Japan were alive, they loved America and they loved New York. They bought Columbia Pictures, Columbia TV. They did okay, and they had a big building in New York, and they sold the building. So I said to my friend at the Consumer Electronics Show, to Jack Wayman, who's the founder of the show, I said, live with Jack. I said, what happened to Sony? He says, oh, they made a big mistake. I said, what was that? He said, they never invented a phone. And that's right, because the phone is what determines everything right now. Sony never had a phone. They never had a telephone. They had a Watchman, a Walkman. They had all kinds of things that they were innovative about and with, including the Trinitron television, the Betamax, which Jack fought that case with Hollywood to make films available. If they did not have that case that they won for films to be on Betamax, you wouldn't be able to watch movies at home the way you're watching them now. They got international distribution rights because the Congress said that they have to allow this to happen. That was years ago. A lot of things have happened in our society that have gone before the Congress. And they're sitting on a lot of bills. Of course, I got a bird sitting on me. So this is a bill. Well, she has one. Now, here's what I need to tell you. Radio and television are public trusts. They are licensed with a tower. Now, where do you get your phone messages from? And where do you get all of your information and all of anything that you're playing with on the phone? Your social networking, your newscasts, your weather, whatever you're watching, the movies, Netflix, Amazon, whether you're watching it on the big screen, small screen, they all come off a tower. They come from a tower or else a satellite, like XM Sirius is satellite radio. But mostly that's too expensive, so it comes from a tower. So what happens now is you pay for a server. AT&T is a server. That's a phone company. That's what AT&T does. It's what Sony didn't do, okay? Samsung did it. Sony did not. Samsung's Korean. Sony's Japanese. They are on the peninsula of North Korea and South Korea where we had a war. We tried to get North Korea out of the way. We at one time we did. We'd like them out of the way again. So let me go back to the story. Okay, so the towers. Everybody has a server, and it's distributed by a tower. Now that tower is licensed by the FCC. The tower carries a signal on it that is licensed by the FCC for the most part. Phones are also under the FCC. But you know what they've done now is that the radio stations and television stations that are over the air used to be supported by commercials that were on TV, and they are on a tower. That's where they come from. So the companies that have gone broke because they couldn't make money with their tower and serving a community have decided now they're going to use the internet to make money, and they're going to go ahead and do some sort of an investment from overseas, which means that our towers will not be owned by Americans anymore if they let this go too far. So that's it. They got to stop it right now. Anything under a tower has got to be under the FCC. FCC is under the U.S. Congress. The U.S. Congress, the president appoints the head of the FCC commissioner. That's the job. And I think that somewhere along the line, these guys are paid off. The guys at the top get paid off, and I'm accusing them of it because they're as guilty as Giuliani is. Guilty as sin. And and the cover-ups on all these things are absurd. They're absurd. And these corporations, a conglomerate has ruined radio and the record business. They've ruined it as we knew it. That's why you don't have a rock and roll business right now. The music has shifted to being urban and the beat because it was only available in this forum through the urban connections until all the other big guys organized it. And now the big guys are running the show. Can you follow any of this? Do you care about any of it? See, most people don't care about it. They just want to watch this thing and say, okay, never mind, give me my song. And Dionne Warwick's back. She's got a concert coming up, you know, and all these things are they're gone. You know, they're gone. I am telling you that I'm not gone. And oh, let me tell you what conglomerates killed. They killed radio. Oh, well, you know, iHeart, that's a bankrupt company. Cumulus, bankrupt. And yet they're trying to get money off of the Internet Association through streaming. So they're going to take something unlicensed to make money for something that they have violated, the licenses they own, which are not fiscally responsible. In other words, they were not able to make money with them. And they put everybody out of work, all the local DJs and music people and everything else. So that's the story. You like it? Yeah, it took 12 minutes to tell all of this. I hope you're interested in this. If you are, write to your congressman. If you're not interested, just delete it. But, you know, pass this along. See, everybody ought to know that while you're watching something, this is a magic trick on television, and while you're watching all of the advancement of everything that is socially acceptable at this point and was not before, somebody's stealing. There is a fox in the chicken coop. And it's not the network fox, but it's close. But there's someone robbing the eggs every time out. You'll see. You'll just stay tuned, and then they'll take your head and run it across the scanner and see what you got in there. It's a Reynolds wrap.